afternoon, folks. As was mentioned, my name is Rajan. I'm the president of the Ryerson Students Union, which represents 30,000 students at Ryerson University. I'm also the racialized representative to the Canadian Federation of Students, Canada's oldest and largest students organization, representing 600,000 students across this country. Before I begin, I would like to take a second to acknowledge the land that we're on. As many of us are settlers on this land, it is imperative in our work in challenging the Canadian government's ongoing imperial and colonial military campaigns to pay respect and to recognize that this land is traditional territory of the Mississauga of the Innu Credit First Nations, and we are here because this land was violently colonized and continues to be occupied. Today, I'm here to share in your condemnation of this Harper government's decision to engage in a military combat mission in Iraq and Syria. As students, we know that Canada's intervention in the war has little to do with supporting people. Rather, we see this as a continuation of a U.S.-led military campaign, which in 2003 saw the deaths of over 1 million people, devastated the infrastructure and economy of Iraq, and has continued to fuel divisions in the region. We see this military intervention as an excuse to continue this government's plan to expand military spending around the world and further militarize Canada, and further represents the ongoing colonization of people and places that are seen to be contrary to Canadian values. We stand here because as students who have been plagued by incredible student debt, cuts to social programs, high youth unemployment, we are consistently told that there's no money to invest in our issues. This furthermore represents this government's austerity measures. This is why we are appalled when this government is so eager to invest $6 billion of our tax money to invest in military operations. As students, we are calling on this government to be accountable and to work towards providing support for people that are affected by their continued austerity measures, and not to engage in further colonial projects like this war and maintaining austerity at the same time. Students and youth, like has been mentioned, have always been on the forefront of social justice and change, and today this is no different. We stand in solidarity with the Toronto Coalition Against the War, and we will not stop until this Harper government ends its imperial agenda in the Middle East. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Thank you so much, folks.
From the beginning, I'm against Canada's involvement in the war, the bombing, the re-invasion of Iraq and Syria. That's one reason. I'm against what my government is trying to do with the events that just happened in Ottawa and Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, and trying to whip up fear and racist paranoia and suspicion, taking people's genuine human sentiments and use those to direct that energy to bring violence to another country, to bring violence to other people. I think that's just the height of hypocrisy and cynicism. And in general, I'm here against what is always the insane logic of war. To think in any way that violence will end violence, we know that that doesn't work. We've had 13 years of invasion and bombing and violence in Afghanistan and Iraq, and we know that that didn't make anyone safer. We know, if anything, it just creates its own violence. We've slipped into a state where the Orwellian logic of war equals peace seems to be accepted and taken for granted. I read 1984 with my students. We talk about it, and everyone can see the insanity of that logic. Everyone can see the absurdity of that logic. And yet our country right now seems to be, or our government anyways, is accepting the idea that more war will bring more peace. So I'm against all of that. That's why I'm here today.